On a bright Saturday afternoon, the neighborhood park buzzed with the joy of summer. Kids dashed around, parents chatted cheerfully from their lawn chairs, and occasionally a dog barked while spinning in circles. In the heart of this lively scene was Emily, a happy 9-year-old with big dreams and an even bigger smile. Her charming little lemonade stand was bright and inviting, decorated with hand-drawn signs and colourful streamers that fluttered in the gentle breeze. Bold letters on her sign declared, "Fresh lemonade, 50 cents." And Emily added a smiley face at the bottom, thinking it would attract more customers. Emily stood on her tiptoes, eagerly looking down the path, her eyes shining with excitement. Her small hands played with the loose corner of her stand as she hummed a catchy tune she had heard on the radio that morning. The sounds of bicycle wheels rolling over the gravel and the laughter from the nearby playground blended into a background she hardly noticed. She was too absorbed in the thrill of her little business adventure. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Emily began to feel the afternoon dragging on. A few neighbours came by, sharing friendly words and purchasing a cup or two, which Emily diligently filled with her homemade lemonade. Just when she sensed disappointment starting to settle in, a shiny black car caught her attention as it slowed down and parked at the curb. The door swung open, and Emily's eyes widened in surprise as she saw who stepped out. The man walking toward her stand was someone Emily recognized immediately from the news articles her dad read aloud and the videos she had watched online. It was Elon Musk. He seemed a bit out of place in the humble park, but his warm, friendly smile made him approachable as he strolled over with his hands in his pockets and a sparkle of curiosity in his eyes. Emily's heart raced as he paused in front of her stand, raising an eyebrow and grinning at her. "Is this the best lemonade in town?" he asked with a playful grin. Emily's surprise faded, replaced by a big smile. "Yes, sir, the best in the whole neighborhood," she replied, her voice small but confident. Emily's heart raced as she saw Elon Musk pull out his wallet. The shiny black car continued to idle behind him, catching the attention of nearby parents and kids who were starting to recognize who had come to the park. For a moment, the usual sounds of the park faded into a soft murmur as whispers of, "Is that really him?" spread through the crowd. Elon, completely relaxed despite the attention around him, handed Emily a crisp bill that was far more than the 50 cents she had requested. With a playful wink, he said, "Keep the change. I've heard inventors have grand ideas." Emily's cheeks turned red with excitement as she took the money, feeling a surge of possibilities. As she poured him a cup of lemonade, she focused hard on keeping her hands steady while placing it on the counter. "So, what inspired the lemonade stand?" he asked, taking a sip and nodding in approval at the taste. Emily's nerves melted away, replaced by the eagerness of a kid ready to share her story. "I'm saving up for a robotics kit," she said, her eyes sparkling. "I want to build things, like the amazing stuff you create." Elon chuckled and leaned in slightly. "That's the spirit. You know, I started small too," he said, a nostalgic glimmer in his eyes. "First inventions aren't always perfect, but you learn quickly." He took another sip of lemonade, his gaze softening as he listened to Emily share her dreams of building robots that could help around the house or even assist in hospitals. The park buzzed with a different kind of energy now. Parents pulled out their phones, snapping pictures and whispering to each other. Emily's lemonade stand became the heart of the park, a little beacon of inspiration surrounded by curious faces. Normally shy around adults, Emily felt a rare surge of confidence as she spoke to someone she had admired for so long. It wasn't just the excitement of meeting a famous person, it was the way he listened, making her feel like her ideas truly mattered. The moment before he left, Elon looked down at Emily and said, "Keep it up, Emily. One day, I'll be the one waiting to see what you make." With a last nod and a smile, he turned and walked back to his car, leaving Emily with a heart full of hope and eyes wide with disbelief. As the car drove away, the crowd around her buzzed with excitement, but she stayed there, holding tightly to the bill he had given her, feeling like the luckiest kid in the world. Emily's lemonade stand was no longer just a weekend project. It had turned into the beginning of something much bigger. As the sun started to set, filling the park with a warm golden light, she realized one important thing. Dreams don't just remain dreams. They can take shape on a hot summer day with a glass of lemonade and an unexpected conversation. The next day, the park felt different to Emily. It buzzed with an exciting energy that hadn't been there before. The story of Elon Musk visiting her lemonade stand had spread quickly, thanks to the photos and videos parents shared on social media. Emily's parents beamed with pride as neighbours dropped by their house to talk about how incredible it was. But for Emily, the thrill of yesterday's encounter mingled with a strange feeling she couldn't quite describe. She set up her stand with the same care as always, making sure the sign was straight and the cups were perfectly lined up. The morning passed slowly, with only a few customers stopping by. Each time someone approached, she felt a flicker of excitement, hoping they would mention Elon or share in the magic of the day before. But as the hours went by, the day settled into a familiar routine, and the park returned to its usual rhythm of joggers, dog walkers, and the laughter of kids playing tag. Emily tried to keep her spirits high, but a small ache of disappointment lingered in her chest. The excitement from yesterday's visit had faded, replaced by the usual calm of a typical day. Even as friends and neighbours walked by and waved, the joy they had shared the day before felt distant. She sighed and took a sip of her own lemonade, gazing at the path where Elon's car had pulled up. Maybe that kind of thing only happens once, she thought, trying to shake off the feeling. She reminded herself that the bill Elon left her was safely tucked away, already a step closer to her robotics kit. But the magic of that moment was hard to recreate, and her eyes drifted back to the road, holding onto a quiet hope she just couldn't let go of. Just as Emily began to pack up her stand, a small group of kids from the neighbourhood approached, curious and eager to hear about her encounter. Their excitement reignited some of the sparkle in Emily's smile. She shared how Elon had spoken to her and encouraged her to keep building. While it wasn't quite the same as the moment itself, it was enough to keep her dream alive, even if just for a little longer. As the day wound down, Emily knew that yesterday had been something truly special. Yet, deep down, she still held on to a flicker of hope that more surprises were yet to come. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the park as Emily glanced at her lemonade stand, now half empty. She sighed, the excitement of yesterday still lingering in her thoughts. The breeze rustled the leaves above her, creating a comforting sound as the day wore on. Just as she was about to start packing up, a soft hum caught her attention. She blinked, staring down the road, her heart racing as a sleek black car appeared once more. The chatter among park visitors faded to a hush as the car came to a stop in the same spot as before. Time seemed to stand still as the door swung open and Elon Musk stepped out. This time, he wasn't empty-handed. Yes, Elon Musk didn't just buy lemonade at Emily's stand. He returned the next day to surprise her. In his hand was a bright pink gift bag, its handles swaying gently as he approached Emily. Her eyes widened in disbelief, and the murmur among the crowd around her grew into a wave of excitement. "Elon's back," someone whispered, and several heads turned, eager to capture the moment with their phones. Emily stood frozen, disbelief etched on her face, until Elon's familiar grin met hers. "Thought I'd drop by again," he said, his voice warm and friendly, as if they were old friends. He placed the pink gift bag on the counter of her stand. "This is for you," he added, his eyes sparkling with a knowing look. Emily's hands shook as she picked up the bag, feeling the weight of a moment she had never dared to dream about. She peeked inside and gasped. A model rocket kit, just like the ones she had seen in science magazines, was neatly packed inside, along with a handwritten note. Gently, she took it out and read aloud, "Dream big and never stop creating." Her heart swelled with pride, but before she could respond, Elon crouched down to her level. "And one more thing, Emily," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial tone that made the crowd lean in closer. "I'm sponsoring you to attend a STEM summer camp next year. You've got the mind of a creator, and creators need a good start." A collective gasp spread through the small gathering, quickly followed by cheers and applause. Emily's jaw dropped, and tears filled her eyes, which she blinked away quickly. She looked up at Elon, who gave her a small nod and a smile that conveyed his belief in her potential. "Thank you," she whispered, the words catching in her throat. The park buzzed back to life around them, but for Emily, the world had transformed into a place where even the wildest dreams felt attainable. While the crowd's excitement swirled around her, it felt as if only she and Elon existed in that moment. She hugged the pink gift bag tightly, her heart racing as if trying to keep pace with everything that was unfolding. The kids who had been watching from a distance edged closer, their eyes wide with admiration and curiosity. Elon stood up, giving Emily a final nod before turning to address the crowd that had gathered. "You know," he began, glancing at the curious faces of parents and children alike, "it's moments like these that remind us how important it is to encourage young minds. Emily here shows us that big ideas often start in the smallest places, a lemonade stand, a backyard, or even a park like this." The crowd erupted in applause, and some parents murmured their agreement as they took in the scene. Emily felt a warm glow spread through her, not just from the cheers, but from the deep sense of being seen and acknowledged for something she had only dared to dream about. She looked down at the handwritten note again, tracing the words with her fingers, as if they might vanish if she didn't hold on to them tightly enough. Elon glanced back at her, a smile still on his face. "Keep at it, Emily," he said, his voice warm and sincere like a promise. "And one day, we'll see those inventions of yours making the world a better place." He turned and headed back to his car, giving a friendly wave to the crowd that had gathered to watch him leave. As the engine roared to life, Emily was pulled back into reality, but it was a reality that felt different, hard to explain. The pink gift bag she held and the uplifting note inside reminded her that what had just happened was indeed real. A group of kids surrounded her, buzzing with excitement as they begged to see what was inside the bag. Emily smiled brightly as she opened it, revealing the rocket kit. She could already picture the fun she'd have assembling it and dreamed of the day she'd create something even more impressive. News of her scholarship quickly reached the parents, sparking conversations about dreams, opportunities, and what kids could accomplish with just a bit of encouragement. As the sun began to dip behind the trees, casting a warm golden light over the park, Emily felt a deep, lasting joy. It was a feeling rooted in her newfound confidence. This wasn't just a memorable day, it was the beginning of something much greater. As the park began to empty and the sun dipped below the horizon, the thrill of Elon Musk's visit hung in the warm evening air. Emily's lemonade stand, now more of a symbol than a business, buzzed with the chatter of excited parents and kids inspired by the day's events. The pink gift bag sat beside her, while the handwritten note was tucked safely in her pocket, serving as a constant reminder that her dreams were becoming a reality, no longer just fantasies. Her parents approached, their eyes shining with pride. "Emily," her mum said softly, kneeling down to wrap her in a hug. "Do you know how amazing today was?" Emily nodded, her eyes sparkling as she hugged her mum back. She felt different now, more confident, as if a new path had opened up right in front of her. The park lights flickered on, casting a gentle glow that blended with the fading sunlight. A group of kids lingered, eagerly discussing what they would build or create. One boy, a year older than Emily, turned to her with newfound respect. "Maybe we could start a project together," he suggested. Emily's heart soared at the idea, and she nodded enthusiastically. She wasn't just Emily with a lemonade stand anymore. She was Emily with a plan, and that felt truly monumental. The local news team arrived soon after, excited to cover the story that had spread like wildfire. They interviewed Emily, who proudly showcased her model rocket kit and shared her aspirations of building robots and inventing things to help others. As she spoke, her words flowed with a confidence that surprised even herself. She wasn't nervous anymore. She felt prepared and eager to take on the world. Elon Musk's visit became the headline of the evening news, and Emily's story reached far beyond the park, touching the homes of families in need of inspiration. Kids watched, asking their parents if they could start their own projects, while parents found hope in the notion that small gestures could create significant ripples. As the crowd thinned and the day finally wound down, Emily began to pack up her lemonade stand, but this time it felt different. It wasn't just a stand anymore, it was the beginning of something greater, with the rocket kit nestled in her bag and Elon's encouraging words echoing in her mind. She walked home, a smile playing on her lips. The future felt wide open, and Emily knew one thing for sure. She was ready to keep dreaming, keep building, and maybe one day inspire someone else just as she had been inspired that day. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.